Hi, my name is Jordan Meyer, and today I'm going to talk to you about intercultural communication and how social norms vary from one culture to the other. The purpose of my speech is to help our employees be more culturally sensitive so they can have successful business relations in China. In order to understand social norms, one must first understand culture. So we will start with talking about culture and its dimensions, and then proceed to talking about social norms that are specific to the way of life of people in China. So what is culture? Culture is defined as the way of life of a people. Hamilton defines culture as a set of values shared by a group of people which shape and influence the social norms, attitudes, beliefs, expectations, perceptions, and behaviors of group members. Social norms vary from one culture to the other. In order to have successful business relations, one must first understand social norms. Culture has been broken down into dimensions so that it can be easily understood. Those 5 dimensions are power distance, uncertainty avoidance, masculinity versus femininity, individualism versus collectivism, long-term versus short-term orientation. Hofstede's international research defines the Chinese as high in power distance, eager to avoid uncertainty, masculine, collectivist, and long-term oriented. The Chinese value relationship over business. They have often been nicknamed the bamboo market because of their close-knit relationship between members of that culture. We will now talk about social norms and start with self-introduction. Self-introduction is important in all cultures. In America, it is acceptable for you to introduce yourself with your first name and then your last name, which stems to our individual values. But in China, since they have collectivist, it is acceptable for you to introduce yourself by your last name and then your first name. So for example, if your name was John Smith, in China you would introduce yourself as Smith John. After self-introduction, one proceeds with a handshake. In China, handshakes are light and lingering, so that would be the proper way to handle handshakes in China. Business attire is very important in all societies. In China, they wear more of a Western style. The traditional style of business clothes has been replaced by the Western style. So if you're going to have an employee travel abroad, it would be acceptable for them to wear traditional business attire. So for men, business suits, women, business suits, or modest cut blouses with skirts or even a dress. Business entertainment is also very important in China. It has often been said that there is no talk of business without at least one trip to a restaurant in China. Food is very important, but alcohol is also very important, especially in the northern and western parts. It is very uncommon for there to not be alcohol served with any business meeting or meal, which is an interesting concept for most Americans to grasp, as alcohol isn't always associated with business relations. The seating of a business meal is often more important than the food. The business meal is usually hosted at a round table where the host would sit facing the front door, and the hostess would sit with her back facing the door, and then the guests are placed in order of importance. If you are hosting a business meal, it is recommended to hire a local party planner so that you do not offend any guest. It is well worth to spend a little money to make sure all of your guests leave happy. The economic institution in China varies. In the United States, we are known as having a free market where anybody can open a business. But in China, it is different. Most of the businesses are owned by the government. There has been a shift from local family units owning businesses to large corporations, mainly because of the increase in technology, such as a production line. There has been an increase of efficiency, and this economic and industrial boom is what has attracted many of the foreign companies to do business in China. The Chinese have a very interesting cultural value system. Eye contact is one of the main differences between the Western value system and the Chinese value system. In the United States, eye contact is essential. When you're talking to someone, you expect them to look at you because it shows that they're being honest, being sincere, and are genuinely interested in what you have to say. But in China, it has the opposite effect. It is disrespectful to not look at someone while they're talking to you, especially if they are of a higher authority, because it can be seen as disrespectful and as a sense of defiance. So we're going to go ahead and cross off this eye over here, just to reiterate that statement. In China, they also have a value system of what is called saving face. Saving face is when the Chinese try to not puncture their own ego or the ego of their business partners. In China, it is not acceptable to say no. That is seen as rude and arrogant. It is also not acceptable to argue or even voice a difference of opinion to either your China counterpart or someone on your team. It is also seen as rude to argue over even small instances such as splitting the bill. Businesses are traveling abroad at a more rapid rate, and it is very important for people to understand the differences in social norms, whether they have to do with family, with business, with food, with dress, because they can all be navigated if the proper skills are learned. So it is very important for employees to be culturally sensitive because their ability to communicate effectively will affect their company's bottom line. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and if you have any questions, please refer to my report or you can email me at jordanmeyer@ou.edu. Thank you and have a great day.